Goba, game week 7. What are your transfer plans? Looking at your squad, it doesn't seem like you've made any changes. Or am I wrong?
No, thanks, Kat. As it stands, I'm in two minds. Looking at game week 6, it was another disappointing game week for me personally, below the global average. So I just need to just make some changes, specifically there with Romero, and I'm really looking to get rid of Rashford. But looking at the money that I have, I'm just looking at to keep the transfer. And then hopefully game week 8, I've got 2 free transfers targeting game week 9, Newcastle players. So I'm caught in two minds, I also just had a look that Luton's got a double game week. They're playing Everton and Burnley in game week 7. Newcastle's also got a relatively tasty fixture. So I think for now, I just need to hold on my transfer for this game week, bite the bullet, and then look to maximize game week 8. Thanks.
Thank you, Goba. Just to ask, what would be your reason for keeping Rashford for this particular game week coming up?
I think the only reason why I'd keep him purely for the fact that I want to use his money to assist me with the second transfer. That's the only thing. It's purely based on me trying to maximize on the 2 free transfers. But besides that, I really feel that for his pricing points at the current stage and his performance, he's not worth keeping any longer than game week 7. So if he does survive game week 7, he'll definitely won't be around game week 8 going forward.
Looking at your squad, currently you have Wissa in the front there. He's been blanking for a couple of games now. Do you not think that this is an opportunity to bring in not only just a cheaper option being Morris, but the mere fact that it's a double game week as well? Do you not think that you could be benefiting from any of the double game weeks players?
No, look, for me, my issue is not necessarily with my forwards. I've got a bigger issue in terms of defense and midfield, because I do feel with strikers, we can't necessarily expect them to be giving you points every game week. It's a bit of some wishful thinking. But when it comes to your defense and midfielders, they are generally more consistent in terms of point scoring. So I really don't mind him being around, because as well, I'm not necessarily favoring having 3 strikers playing at the same time. For me, I just feel that picking up my midfield is ideal. And just looking at the trajectory and how the teams have been playing, the form players, there's a lot in that midfield. Looking at your Newcastle, looking at your West Ham, those teams have players that are really performing all around, especially when it comes to the assists, the goal threat. So midfield for me, it's where I'm really trying to bolster up. I mean, if I had to make a comparison between Wissa and Rashford, I feel that in as much as Wissa has been blanking in certain game weeks, but there are those game weeks where he does, pick up his hand and he contributes and he scores goals. When you look at Marcus, on the other hand, he's not doing none of the above. I'm not getting assists, I'm not getting goals, and he costs quite a bit. So that's my train of thought and where my mind frame is at the moment.
Now, I see that you have Bell on your starting lineup, who's got a double game week coming up. But on the bench, you have Gabriel. Just talk us through what your reasoning is for preferring Bell. Yes, he's got a double game week, but why him over Gabriel, who's playing Bournemouth?
Yeah, I think when I look at Bell, I stand more of a chance getting more points from him looking at the two games. Both these fixtures for me, I feel that Luton they've been playing decent football. Everton is not necessarily on form. Burnley, on the other hand, they've really got firepower. But just to put it out there, it's a gamble. Gabriel, yes, he's been starting, but he hasn't necessarily been the most disciplined players. He's been getting yellow cards quite consistently. And I also just feel that Arsenal, in terms of keeping clean sheets, they're not too great at that. But that's as of today. That's just how I'm feeling. Things might change closer towards the weekend. And depending on whether I actually make the transfer this game week or next game week, it's one of those things. But for now, I think, for the fact that he's got a double game week, I wouldn't necessarily want to keep him on my bench, and then he produces some points. So that's purely why he's there. And I mean, he hasn't started this whole season for me. So this is his opportunity to start and not just come off the bench and give me that random 2 points. So I'm crossing fingers and hoping for the best in this one.
Goba, it sounds like to me you have a lot of issues to deal with in the team. Rashford, Sterling, and Chelsea not really producing. Wissa consistently banking. Gabriel on your bench, someone you're not really happy with. That's an amount of 4 players, and Odegaard as well, not necessarily performing as a player week in, week out. And then you now have the yellow flag player, Saka. Would you be considering your wild card, looking at your team right now and going forward? There will be a rush for Salah in game week 9 to 10. Are you going to be part of that rush? Could that potentially be when you play your wild card?
No, thanks, Kat. Look, for me, it's game week 7 that we're going into. We still got 32, 31 game weeks ahead of us. I'm not panicking. I've been in this situation plenty of times. So for me, it's just to keep the faith, be patient. Yes, Sterling is not performing. Yes, Rashford is not performing. Yes, Vista has been blanking. Gabriel, I'm not chuffed with. Suckers on a yellow. It's not really all doom and gloom, for the fact that I still feel that these players in one game week, all it takes is really one game week, and for all of them to just chip in a decent performance, and things can change. Wild card for me at this current juncture, no, it's not even something that I'm thinking of. Hence why when it comes to decisions like holding a transfer to get 2 transfers, I think that would work better for me at the moment. And then just keep the faith, keep the faith. Maybe when it comes to close to, after game week 15 for me, when we move closer to mid season, that's when really I'd want to consider wildcards. But for now, it's just I need to just keep the faith, stay patient. Yes, a lot of managers are considering wildcards. A lot of managers are looking at their mini leagues, and they might not be sitting where they want to sit. But one thing I do know about Fantasy Premier League, that it wouldn't be called fantasy for no reason. Anything and everything can happen over one game week. So for now, keep the faith and just keep backing myself with the decisions I make, whether they work out or they don't. It's all right. All I can do is learn from them and see how best we can tackle the next game week.
Kat, Killer Squad manager, made a terrible mistake by putting Son on the bench for the Arsenal game. Now, are you going to repeat that mistake, or will you still keep Saka there? Should he still be fit?
Yeah. I love the fact that you actually you make that comment with Son. I was also quite surprised when I saw it because when I was watching the game, I was like, "Yo, geez, Cat's." But okay, fine. We're not talking about Cat's team, but anyway, Cat, his whole debacle was putting those two together, and then he put Son on the bench. So for me, with Saka, it's purely for this discussion. I actually wanted to put him on the bench for the fact that he's yellow. You know, you don't necessarily keep a guy that's on yellow that's in your team now. So obviously, I'll have my ears on the ground to see what Arteta's saying, to see how his fitness is. So going into Friday, if I don't hear anything that's going to be negative towards him playing, then definitely he'll be in my team. I don't think he's the type of player that you put on the bench. You know, I'd much rather risk it having him in the team. But purely for tonight's discussion, I just thought, let's just keep him on the bench and just see how the team will look without him there.
All right. Thank you, Goba, for your time, and good luck for Game Week 7.
Thank you, gentlemen.